gonna show you how I transform this into this. But wait, this isn't your ordinary transformation video. I'm gonna show you where to start the taper, the back and the side taper, where to start your hairline, your edge ups, the sidelines, no bench, because we in the game, baby. I'm gonna show you guys how to edge up behind the ears, when and where to use the razor blade. Lastly, I'm gonna show you how to tippity tap, touch up them eyebrows, and that scriffity scruff scraff. You want your cuts fresh like this? Well, stay tuned. This is Swift Tips, 7 easy steps for a better transformation haircut. Brought to you by the one and only DK the Barber. Let's jump in. When cutting down bulk, especially with curly, wavy, or just coarse hair in general, you're going to want to give a little lift to the top of the curl so there's not so much tension at the bottom, so no pulling or tugging occurs when you're trying to cut through the hair with your clippers. I'm using the classic 76ers by Oster. If you don't have these, no worries. Use the walls or even some other blending clippers you have. Just take it a little slower because you don't want tugging or any type of pulling to occur, okay? Which brings me into tip number 2. You're going to want to run your clippers through the client's head at least 3 times. What this does is making sure the canvas is nice and even. Brush in between every time you use the clippers on the top of the head. You can even use leave-in conditioner to help lay the hair down. Let's progress into tip number 3, dialing into this back taper. Get your trimmers or edgers of choice and go ahead and create your skin line. The lower you go, the better for beginners. It leaves more room for mistakes. Next, you want to grab your blending clippers, make sure the lever's all the way open and go about a finger length up. After you do that, close the lever and slowly work your way up as you pull back the lever. Now, slap the one wall clip on your clippers with the lever open and do the same. Go about an inch up, okay? Make sure you get some wrist flick action. If you don't know what that is, check out my other videos on my playlist called Swift Tips. Next, let's slap that 1/16 clip on our clippers. I like to start with the lever closed and gradually open up the lever as we go up. Let's wrap up the back taper by slapping that 1.5 clip on there and repeating the same steps as before. I call this style of blending the step method. Next up is tip number 4, going into detail on the side taper. Now we want to start the side taper the same. Just start with your skin line with your trimmers or edgers, then you want to pull out your blending clippers. We're going to use a different blending method on the side tapers in this video, so pay attention. Start with your lever closed and work your way up as you progress higher on the head. Now slap that 0.5 clip on your clipper. The 0.5 clip is the same as that wall 1/16. As you progress higher on the head, pull the lever back, and you're going to want to do the same with this one clip. So put the one clip on the clippers and repeat the process. Now let's slap that 1.5 clip on our clippers. Make sure the lever on the side of the clippers is closed. At this point, you should feel a little bit more comfortable with these clips because they're bigger and they're not cutting as much off. Go a little bit behind the ear and up top around the crown area. In the video, I'm actually using a number 2 clip, and you don't have to dibble and dabble in between the lever being closed and open. When using bigger clips such as the 1.5 or higher, I just start off with the lever closed, then open it all the way for the next step. Let's switch to the other side. Now we're gonna do the exact same steps, and you can't do one side without doing the other, so let's hop into it. I'm gonna get a better shot for you guys so you guys can get an up close look, okay? So start with your skin line with your trimmers, then pull your blending clippers out with the lever closed and work your way up. Gradually pull that lever down as you're going up on the taper. The next step would be the 1/16 clip for the walls or the 0.5 clip for the Babyliss clippers. You could use either or, they're the same clip, different measurements, different brands. Now throw that 1/8 clip on there, which is the one clip for the walls, and you're going to repeat the same steps for each clip. The only time the steps change is when it's a 1.5 and higher. Remember, now there's that 1.5 I was talking about. Make sure that lever's closed. Then once you go higher, pull the lever all the way back. Boom. Now into the next step. Tip number 5, hairline edging with your trimmers across the entire head. When edging up the hairline, you want to start in the middle and work your way left to make sure you get a even hairline. These are the C cups right here. I like to use the corner of the clippers, the left side of my clippers only, just to get that curvature. You know, use and utilize each part of your clipper to give you an advantage for the hairline. Notice how I'm starting in the middle of the hairline and I'm working right now. Just like we did on the taper, we concentrated on one side at a time. That's what I like to do when working with my edgers as well. Now, there are different routes you could take to get to the same haircut, just like there's different blending methods. But here on Swift Tips, we're not worried about time, we're worried about detail. So we're going further into the detail. Next, let's edge behind the ears. Don't be afraid to pull your client's ear down in order to get the proper edge behind the ear, okay? The client in the video had his long hair for several years, so he wanted to keep his edges relatively natural, and I think that's a good tip overall. Just keeping the hairline natural, especially for beginning barbers. Sometimes less can really mean more, especially under these circumstances. Pull out that razor because things about to get sharp. Let's get into tip number 6, is to edge these areas strictly with the razor and the razor only. It prevents from pushing these areas back. Also, make sure you stretch the skin. Notice my left hand, the opposite hand of the razor, is stretching the skin in the opposite direction to cause tension on the skin so we don't cut our client, okay? Notice in this area, we're strictly using the razor. I noticed at the barbershop that I've worked at that most barbers use their trimmers to do this part of the hairline. I noticed with time this can push the hairline back. So try this technique out next time you do a haircut and comment down below and let me know if it worked for you. Last but not least, let's progress to tip number 7, increasing the value of your haircut by offering side services such as eyebrows or even beard trims or edges, okay? So right here in the video, I'm edging the client's eyebrows. The 2 lines in the eyebrows I like to call cat scratches, but not only am I adding the cat scratches, I'm shaping up the eyebrow. Remember guys, going back on our earlier tip, keep the edges natural, no matter if you're doing the hairline, sideburn, beard, or even the eyebrows. Just keep it natural unless your client says otherwise. But wait, before we progress forward, let's go back to tip number 7. I feel like tip number 7 is the most critical because not only is it you providing more services and getting more money from your clients, but you're increasing your skill set at the same time. I once heard a barber say that the skill set and the skills to have to be a barber isn't the most important thing, and I could beg to differ because nobody's gonna come to you to get a haircut if your skills isn't up to par. You need to be at least a good barber to be able to cut hair and do the basic haircut. But when you add all these other services to your haircuts, you're not just gonna get known, but you're gonna have a bigger, better, wider expansion of clientele. Just imagine for 1 second expanding your skill set, which will expand your clientele, which will expand your pockets, okay? You're gonna be making more money, you're gonna be learning at the same time, you're gonna have different people in and out of your barbershop or in and out of your chair, which is gonna lead you to new and better connections. We're gonna elevate universally in every aspect, especially when it comes to barbering. Let's not just become better barbers, but become better people, become better humans, provide value to this world, okay? It's getting to the end of the video, guys, but before you click off this video, I want to give you an example. My client in the video didn't want to cut his facial hair until all of the hair on top of his head was cut. So by learning tip number 7, I just made an extra $5 to this haircut. So I turned a $45 haircut into a $50 haircut just by learning and mastering tip number 7, okay? Remember, guys, our ancestors learned from what worked, but even more from what didn't work. So fail early, fail often, and fail forward. It's your boy, DK the Barber. Gotta go.